I honestly never thought that I would ever make a serious video like this on the channel, and yet here we are. Because on January the 1st, 2020, this and many other channels on YouTube could disappear just like that. And we need to talk about this because, in my understanding, this isn't being talked about enough in our little community, and even in the bigger picture of the community of trading card games in general. I haven't seen Yugi YouTubers talking about this or YouTubers in the Magic scene, and it will affect all of us. It will affect a big amount of us, not only in the card game community, but even tabletop and the games outside of that, because we all are in a gray area that are in danger of this COPPA law that this whole video is going to talk about. So what is this doomsday scenario that I refer to, and what is this COPPA? Well, COPPA is a American-based law that stands for the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and it all stems to protect children from online predator behavior. And with that, I am referring to the company predators' behavior to market certain products and commercials to specific individuals. And this whole act is to protect children from those companies, because children cannot really see the distinction between a commercial or a potential content video itself. So they are vulnerable to that predatory behavior. And this isn't a new law, as it's been around since the beginning of commercial internet, since 1998 and around 2000, where this law took into effect. So why isn't now that it suddenly becomes an issue for us? Well, this all has to do with what happened 2 months ago, because in September of 2019, YouTube has been convicted of violating the COPPA law, and the FTC has given YouTube a fine of $170 million. And the FTC stands for the Federal Trade Commission, which is the bureau that is enforcing the COPPA law. And without going into much details, because I have no real knowledge about this whole jurisdiction, region and field, so I can also not give you any advice whatsoever concerning this whole lawmaking stuff. But what's going to happen from this point onward is that YouTube is going to be held accountable for the COPPA law, even though in the original terms of service of YouTube, they are a website and a service for 13 years and older. And the reason why that's important is because the FTC has determined and defined that a child is an individual of under the age of 13. So even though in the terms of services of YouTube, saying that it's a platform for not children, they are fined, and they will acknowledge that the user base is still targeting towards children, making them follow under the COPPA law. And because YouTube has ads and targeted ads on videos, they are not abiding this specific law, and they are held accountable for it, and that's why they get the whole fine. But the aftermath of them having this fine and this lawsuit ended is that also complied that the FTC now has the authority to also target content creators and held them specifically accountable for their own videos, meaning every single individual content creator will now have to follow this COPPA law, even though we are only providing content and not the one targeting children with these ads. Meaning, if we target children with our content and the FTC is saying they are not abiding the COPPA law, we could be fined and we can have jurisdictional problems and might have a court case on our hands as well. But let's take a step back and clarify what's going on from this point onward. Basically, what now is going to happen is that YouTube is now putting the decision onto the individual content creator themselves, because they want to stay hands off of what's ever happening on YouTube, as they always do, and basically let the content creators survive for themselves and decide for themselves. So from this point onward, and you might have already seen it from other content creators and other videos, is that every single video, we need to decide if that video is made for children or not made for children. And if we say it's made for children, we need to abide COPPA law. And for that, we cannot targeted ads on those videos. So YouTube will remove targeted ads from those videos to allow us to be safe from the COPPA law itself. But this is where we get into the problem situation, because now we either need to set on every single video if it was targeted for kids or not, or we can put it onto a channel level and say that the entire channel is targeted for kids or the entire channel is not targeted for kids. So you can say, well, just set everything targeted for kids and you'll be safe because you remove those specific ads and you will abide to COPPA law and there is no repercussion from it. However, that is in itself a death sentence for each and every single channel that will do that. Because the reason for that is, once you do that and you set that your channel or that video is directed for children, or the main targeted audience is children, you will lose targeted ads on that video. And that means you will lose 80 to 90% of revenue on those specific videos, because on the YouTube platform, 90 to 80% of all the revenue made is from targeted ads. The normal non-targeted ads only bring in around 10%, and that is a major blow. Just think about going to work and from the next day onwards you only get 1/10 of your salary. Nobody can take that kind of cut in your income, because that is an insane amount. Also, not only do we have the loss of income, those videos will lose info cards, so that icon that you see on the top right or left, you will lose end screens, so no bubble text up for a direction to another video or that kind of stuff, that's also gone. You will lose notifications, so my audience and every single other audience from other content creators will not be notified whenever we upload a new video if that video is directed to children. So you have no idea of when we upload new videos, even though you hit the bell icon and said I want to be notified for every single video, you will not get a notification, and the comment section will be disabled of those specific videos. And also, channels that are directed to children will lose the community tab on their channel as well. So you will lose any type of interactions with your audience, with your community, which is the building blocks and the foundation of every single channel on this platform. And that is a major blow, because basically a video directed to children is a dead video. Not in the sense that it doesn't make any money, because that's also a big issue, but nobody will know that a video will be live. Nobody can interact with that video or with the content creator, and it's just sitting there in limbo. Because also another thing that YouTube isn't really going out there and saying what's happening, that video will not get featured. That video will be downvoted in their algorithm, so it will not pop up in any kind of search results. It will not get on the homepage, it will not get into your feature box, it will not get into your notification box. It will be nowhere. The only way that you can find those specific videos is going manually to those specific channels and then click on those videos to see which new video was uploaded on that day. So every single day you need to check all your different channels of all your different content creators that you follow to know if they uploaded a new video or not, if those were set on children specific audience. So that is a scenario when you make children content. So then you can say, well, just set them all to adult, non-children focused content, or that's not your audience, and you will be fine. You have the same features as you always do. Yes, that be the case, but if you do that and the FTC, which now has access from January the 1st to basically go around YouTube and be the wild sheriff to see if something is right or not, if they see your video, which will be flagged for adult content, and they think it's for children, you could see a fine upwards to $52,000 per video. Meaning that channels like myself, which has 300 videos at the current moment, and it's increasing, can, if some of those videos get flagged by the FTC for its child-focused content, you could easily see up to $500,000 of debt just overnight. And this could be happening to thousands of channels within a day if the FTC thinks it fits that it's child content, but you labeled it as adult content. And this whole situation is making a lot of content creators in a very scary situation where they are nervous for the future of their channel and their community. And this is going on for everybody, because just think about it. What a American institution can think about what is children content. Everything can almost be identified as children content. Video games, card games, tabletop, maybe even an unboxing channel, an animation channel. So anything like that that is actually directed to preteens and adults and young adults can also be interpreted as being for kids. SpongeBob SquarePants is a cartoon, but you be surprised how many young adults and adults are still into SpongeBob SquarePants. It's a cult phenomenon, and that's a prime example of how this is gonna affect a lot of things. But we did get some guidelines from YouTube what the FTC is prescribing as being for children content. And let's go down the list and see what for vague terminology they're using, because according to the FTC, the guidelines on COPPA, a video is child-directed, which called made for kids, if, and there are two main examples, children are the primary audience based on the factors described below, and second, children are not the primary audience, but the video is still directed to children based on the factors below. So what, according to the FTC, will be directed to children is through the following notes. First, subject matter of the video, AG, educational content for preschoolers. Second, whatever children are your intended or actual audience for the video. This is a little bit strange because now they state whatever your intended audience is children or when they're just watching it, while they also are saying children are the primary audience based on this factor. So it's a very odd one. Then the third one is whatever the video includes child actors or models. Fourth, whatever the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures. Then fifth, whatever the language of the video is intended for children to understand. And sixth, whatever the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, simple songs, or games, or early education. Seventh, whatever the video includes songs, stories, or poems for children. And eighth, any other information you may have to help determine your video audience, like empirical evidence of video audience, whatever the hell that means. So these 8 bulletin points, which is there something that addresses to us? Well, some do and some don't, and at the same time those will do also don't, because the problem is everything is in a mishmash. The game that we play, the game that this channel is based upon, Cardfight Vanguard, is in its actuality a game for 9-year-olds and plus. That's what is literally added on the box. It's literally on the box that states in the red banner here, 9+ years, so for 9-year-olds and older. Does that mean that every single video made about this game is child-directed or focused for children? No, because my content, my video audience isn't that. And so let's go over these bullet points and see why some do or don't matter to me. The subject matter of the video, educational content for preschoolers. Yes, my videos are educational, but they aren't meant for preschoolers. The information that I talk, the subjects that I talk about mathematical statistics and probability and just about tactics and deck building and that kind of stuff, will probably go over the head of your average 12-year-old or 8-year-old. And that is something we need to acknowledge, and that's something that they need to acknowledge, that this kind of stuff is a little bit too heavy for your average child. Whatever the video includes child actor or model. Well, this one definitely doesn't suit me. I'm no child actor and I'm hell no child model whatsoever. I'm way too old for that. I'm 26, 27, so yeah, doesn't fit that criteria. Whatever children's are your intended or actual audience of the video. This one is very simple. I'm not making video for children, so that's not my intended audience. And when I go into my Google Analytics, you can see right here that my actual audience are 18+ and above. I only have a small percentage of 13-year-olds and older. Major part of my audience are between 18 and 35. So yeah, that one is also scrapped off. Then, whatever the video includes characters, whatever the hell that means, celebrities or toys that appeal to children. Well, this is a card game for 9-year-olds and plus, but still, it doesn't really appeal to children, it's just for all ages in that regard. Included an animated character. Well, this one is going to be a little bit tricky, because as you might have seen in my thumbnails and other videos, I have this character, this animated version of myself, Mr. Time Leap, as a character itself. It's only made to identify myself from all the other channels and in the public space like Facebook and Twitter, to identify myself from all the other people. It's to make myself recognizable. It's not made for children, it's just as a avatar of my own persona. Also, in fact, this character is derived of another character called Hoenn Kyoma from the Steins Gate anime series. And that series, although it's also a cartoon, it's a seinen show. And seinens are adult-focused shows. It's not like a shonen, which are for younger boys. A seinen is for older preteens to adult boys that like these more heavy kinds of stuff. But does the FTC know that? I doubt it. Whatever your language intent for children to understand. Well, YouTube doesn't provide us with words or phrases that fall under the FTC, what they qualify as child language, but when we go into the actual COPPA law and see what they are understanding about this language, we get some ridiculous examples, because what they say in the COPPA law themselves for child language, we have the following words: kids only, fun, free stuff. Well, big newsflash, I'm a Dutch person. Our entire country stigma is that the Dutch people like free stuff. So with that, saying the word free or free stuff makes every Dutch person a child? No, it gets more ridiculous from this point, because we have the word whatever, cool, duh, games, and ask your parents, and etc. I don't know if they ever updated this since 1998, but the word cool isn't really directed to children. Or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. So this is also some ridiculous rule or criteria to understand if your content is directed for children or not. Then we have, of course, whatever the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, simple songs, or games or early educations. The only line that is important is the word games here, because we play card games, I talk about card games, and I do card fights on the channel as well, where we actually play the game. That could appeal to children, but it's not the main audience, and it's not directly directed onto children, because I don't intend to make my content for them. If they do not understand it because I am directing them to to all teens, young adults, then that's not my problem, because that's not the audience that I'm looking for. Whatever your video includes songs, stories, poems for children. This one I can write off, because I don't really make songs or audio for children at all. So this one isn't really of my concern. And the last one, it's so vague that I don't even know what the hell they are meaning with that. So yeah, it's really a weird list in general for the content on the channel itself, and for any type of TCG channel, because the main issue is that we make videos concerning a game, and a game that is technically for all ages and children alike. So they could follow on the COPPA law. However, there is a silver lining, as stated by Ian Corsin in this video about COPPA law, and I mean the second video linked in the description, where he talked about this gray area, because we have for children and for adult. But there are things that tailor to both. Card games definitely falls in this both category. And apparently in COPPA law, but I'm only paraphrasing from his understanding, and he's a self-proclaimed social media lawyer, so take that with a grain of salt for what his words are worth. But in the COPPA law, it apparently states that when you fall in this gray area, you are not following under the actual COPPA law themselves. So you don't have to worry about the fact that you're for children or not. Even though you make a all ages content, the fact that you're not directly directed to the children itself, you are exempt of the law. So that is a good sign. However, how this will be enforced on the YouTube platform is a complete different beast, because now we get in the actual part where I'm personally scared, because I am still skeptical about the whole COPPA law themselves, because I think we are in the clear in the actual law and I can still make the videos what we're still doing at this current day. But we are not only working under the American law itself, we are also working under the iron fist of YouTube. And with this law taking effect, YouTube is also going to make a new algorithm that's gonna be focused around machine learning to track down channels and videos and label them for kids only if they seem fit for kids only, to protect the channels and the content creators themselves from the COPPA law. So they are basically striking them first before the COPPA law can strike them and give them their fine. And this is where I'm scared of, because it's going to be a machine learning algorithm, and we all know how good the machine algorithm learning from YouTube is, because that never went wrong. So depending on how this algorithm machine learning thing works, either we're going to be in the clear and they're not going to hit TCG channels or videos at all, or we're going to be completely screwed because they see a video game or they see this character on the thumbnail or whatsoever, and they cannot distinguish between actual kids content and just all ages content that's mainly for 18-year-olds and higher. But just because pop culture is a thing, these will mingle between each other. So this is basically what's going on in YouTube right now, and it's gonna be some crazy ass show for the coming weeks. And that's basically everything that you need to know about COPPA law and what kind of impact that can have on this particular channel and every other channel on the whole service of YouTube. Because this is gonna strike a lot. It's gonna strike video game let's players. It's gonna strike tabletop gamers. It's gonna strike trading card game channels. It's gonna strike any type of animation channel, even though they're just making an animation character and just talk about stories that may not be focused around children or not to be for children, but just because it has an animated character in the thumbnail and in the video, they think it's gonna be for children. But there's one more thing that I haven't talked about, why I think I'm not afraid of the FTC themselves, is the FTC is gonna be the one that's gonna force the hammer by giving the fines, and they are gonna decide if it actually is for children or not, and if you abide the COPPA law or not. The main thing about this is that this is a small bureau of the American government. They don't have a lot of manpower. It's impossible for them to govern every single video that will be uploaded to YouTube, because in every hour, or it could even be every minute or every second, there will be enough content uploaded on the channel that if you're gonna watch it, it will take you 80 years. So for every hour, there will be 80 years of content. That's impossible to monitor everything. So even with that in case, the chance of everybody or you're gonna be hit every single time is very low. But don't take that as legal advice, because once again, I am no expert in this field and I will not give you any type of advice. But what I am very confident about is that the YouTube content creators within the Vanguard community, even in Yu-Gi-Oh!, even in Magic and all the other type of card games that make these type of content, these type of videos, should, in my opinion, be in the clear if this whole exemptions of having a wide audience for all ages should be exempt from the COPPA law. If that's the actual case, we should be in the clear. But depending on what YouTube is going to do, we either could still be screwed or nothing could happen, and that would be the best case scenario. But with that, everything said, if you want to do something about the situation, there are a couple things that you can do. You can, of course, just follow your favorite channels. You can just try to subscribe and give them the support that they need right now. You can even go to their individual patrons to maybe support them financially in this coming time where maybe their whole finances will go down the drain. My personal Patreon is in the description down below if you want to support me. But another thing that you can do is sign a petition that's going on right now. It may not do anything, but by just banding together, it might have an impact. Also, that petition will be linked in the description down below if you have the time to to sign that petition, and maybe we can do something about this law taking in effect on January the 1st, 2020. Because whatever is going to happen at the start of next year, YouTube will change, and it will not change for the better. And I hope this is going to be the last serious negative video I'm ever going to make on the channel, but it had to be made. But with that said, I'm Mr. Timeleap, and I see you guys in hopefully a better and more enjoyable and a more Cardfight Vanguard centric next one.